First things first, I want to say thank you to all of you. You all make me smile. The reviews on Apple Podcasts and also the comments on Spotify, they just mean so much. And it also makes me feel like together we are making a difference. So thank you. Really, it means a lot. Thank you for leaving the reviews and the feedback and it's just fun. It's also fun to know that I'm not alone in any of this. And also, for those in the US, I'm actually doing some live performances in March. So head over to the website calmitdownpodcast.com or chadlawson.com and you'll see some dates there, both East Coast and West Coast. I would love to say hello in person. Again, that's March of this year, 2024. Come see me. Come say hello. I would really enjoy meeting you face to face. Now, on with the program. We're going to start with a visualization with this episode. So if you are in a safe space, close your eyes. Just a simple breath, easily in, easily out. Imagine you're standing by the sea and you're watching a ship sail smoothly. The wind in your hair, maybe a few clouds, but this ship, it looks so strong and graceful, just moving effortlessly through the water. This ship can sometimes be like how we see ourselves. Confident, effortless, smooth sails, in control, knowing where we're headed. But the ship, it actually has a secret. Underneath, it's slowly taken in water with each wave. But you don't see it. What looks to be strong and smooth sails above the water, underneath, it's taking in water with each wave. And this is sometimes like us when we're dealing with stress and challenges in our lives. On the outside, we might look calm and collected, but inside, we're struggling. We're struggling with the pressures and demands of our daily lives. Think of each wave hitting the ship as a problem or like a stressful situation. Maybe it's a busy day at work or an argument with a friend or just a really long to-do list. These waves, they keep coming. And like the ship, we start to feel the weight of them. At first, we may not even notice how much this stress is affecting us. We think we can handle it when we keep pushing through, but over time with this ship, the stress builds and we start to feel overwhelmed as the ship begins taking on more water, slowly, almost imperceptibly. This ship, my friends, this ship is us when we are facing burnout. Burnout is a word that we hear quite often, but do we really understand its weight? Like the ship, we can appear sturdy, we can appear resilient on the surface, but beneath, we might be struggling, taking on more than we can handle, slowly sinking under the pressure. Have you ever felt like you're keeping it all together on the outside, but inside, you're really struggling? I mean, think about it. What are the things in your life that are stressing you out, even if you don't always show it? And more importantly, are these stresses taking you where you want to go, or are they pushing you into a whole other ocean you've never intended? Well, let's explore how to handle these hidden challenges of burnout better. I'm Chad Lawson, and let's calm it down in 3, 2, 1. You can open your eyes if you like, or you can keep them closed. It's nice. But think of yourself as the captain of this ship on a giant ocean. This ocean is like all the things you deal with every day. Your work, family, all of the ups, all of the downs. Sometimes everything is calm and easy, like sailing on a smooth sea, but other times life gets really busy and really stressful, like a big storm on the ocean. So I want to navigate these oceans. And the very first thing that we have to do is we have to spot the problem, or what I like to call notice the nod. The first important thing to do is to notice when things are starting to go wrong. Imagine your life as a ship that's beginning to take in this water, right? This is like burnout, which is when you feel super tired and stressed over a long time. It's like feeling exhausted even after you've rested, not enjoying the things that you used to love, or just feeling like everything is just too much. But recognizing these signs is like a ship's captain noticing small leaks. It's really important to see these problems early on, because if you don't fix these small leaks, they obviously can get worse and cause bigger issues. But by seeing these early signs of burnout, you can start doing things to feel better and stop the stress from getting too big, just like a good captain would fix leaks to keep their ship safe, right? So let me ask, have you seen any leaks in your life? I mean, really, think about this. Are you feeling more tired than usual, or just not liking things like you used to enjoy? These might be signs you're starting to get burnout. It's like noticing the small leaks in your ship. You know how sometimes you're staring at the screen too long, or you're trying to watch television late at night and you just keep nodding your head? You're tired. It's an early sign of burning out. Notice the nod. Because if you notice these signs, if you notice the nod, the next step is to take a little break or to do something you actually do enjoy. But it's like fixing a small leak in your ship before it gets worse. And this could be super simple, like taking a short walk or reading a book, talking to a friend. This step is about taking care of yourself to keep your ship, your life, sailing smooth. This is the easiest step, right? But it's so often overlooked because it is easy. We dismiss the importance of standing up from the desk after sitting for hours, or turning the TV off rather than staying up another hour later, even when you can barely keep your eyes open. Notice the nod. Notice it. And remember, these small acts, they are the gentle adjustments, just that little bit of a turn of the screw that keeps your ship's small leak from turning into a steady intake. And so with that, the next thing is to recognize the impact. Now, let's imagine that our ship is actually filling up water. We didn't take care of that small leak, right? We just kind of ignored it and just, the nod, it's fine, I'm a little tired. But now our ship is actually starting to fill up with water. And as the more water the ship takes on, well, the harder it is to take control. And this is just like how burnout makes our lives harder to manage. When we are burned out, doing our everyday task can become really difficult. It's like steering a really heavy ship, right? Everything feels more difficult and just tougher in general. But we might start making more mistakes than usual, just like a captain who's struggling with the ship. It's really hard to handle. Burnout can also make us feel really stressed or really upset, right? That's very obvious. We might get annoyed easier or feel too tired to even hang out with friends or with family, which is usually pretty life-giving, right? It's almost as if the water in our ship is not just making it heavy, but it's also making us feel down. We might even stop taking care of ourselves properly when we're focused on dealing with all the stress. We might not exercise, might not eat well, might not obviously get enough sleep. It's like being so busy trying to stop the ship from sinking that we forget to maintain it properly, neglecting the simple routines that keep it seaworthy. So when we think about the water getting into our ship, it's a good way to understand how burnout affects different parts of our lives. It makes things harder to do, right? It affects our mood, and it changes how we act with others, and it can make us forget to look after ourselves. But it's important to notice these things because they tell us, our body is trying to tell us that it's time to start fixing the leaks that are in our ship. So with that being said, I want you to think about how all the stress, like the water that's in our ship, how is it making things harder for you? How is burnout changing the way that you handle your day-to-day life? And be honest with yourself when you think about these. How is burnout changing the way that you handle your day-to-day life? I want you to take a moment to write down the ways that you've been feeling more stressed or more tired lately. I know it's silly, but when you actually stop and you write these down, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, this is more water than I thought I had. This can really help you see clearly how burnout is affecting you and what you might need to change or to fix it, right? Just like checking where the water is coming into the ship. Find the hole and fix it. Goodness, it's a simple change, right? But so often overlooked. And speaking of making changes for the better, I do want to take a moment to talk about something that has genuinely helped me in my journey to a healthier, more balanced lifestyle. And that's actually called Green Chef. Green Chef is a meal kit company that's all about eating healthy and feeling great. Want to talk about getting rid of burnout? This is a wonderful start because with their diverse meal plans, you can find something that fits perfectly for your lifestyle, whether it's keto or paleo or vegan or vegetarian or gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced meal. I've personally been enjoying Green Chef's meals as I'm a paleo eater. And let me tell you, they are a game changer. Not only are the recipes delicious and easy to follow, I'm not a big cook, but trust me, they are. They also save me so much time. I don't have to worry about meal planning or grocery shopping. Everything I need comes right to my door. And right now with our schedules, who doesn't want that? But the best part, Green Chef is offering an amazing deal for you guys. You can get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Yes, you heard me right. Just go to greenchef.com/60CALM, 60CALM, and use the code 60CALM. Trust me, your taste buds and your body will thank you. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. So if you're looking to make eating healthy and delicious, who doesn't want that? Give Green Chef a try. You won't be disappointed. If you want to start getting rid of burnout, eating well is a tremendous place to start. Give Green Chef a try. Now, let's get back to our journey and talk about how we can start bailing out the water and addressing burnout more effectively. Now, going back to our ship, think about our ship that is now filling up with water because we've neglected it, we've ignored it, and we are in a state of burnout. What do we do next? Well, this step is like the ship's captain, realizing, oh my gosh, there's a lot of water. I need help. I can't do this on my own, right? So the captain is realizing they need help to get the water out. Well, in real life, this means it's okay to ask for help when you're feeling burned out. Did you hear that? Because a lot of times we don't want to do this. It's okay to ask for help when you are feeling burned out. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign that you are not committed. It's actually a sign that you are committed to the fact of what you're passionate about and you're realizing you need help. You need to take a break. You can talk to friends, you can talk to family, especially a counselor, which I highly recommend. Getting help is a smart way to start feeling better, right? Because then we need to figure out what's the most important thing to do right now and what can wait. I'm going to say that again because I love this. This is something I really try to practice, especially if a text comes in or if an email comes in. What is something that's really important to do right now, and what is something that can wait? It's like the captain is deciding, you know what, which part of the ship to fix first to keep it floating, right? Our body is our ship, and what do we need to fix first to keep it floating? And sometimes it's not the easiest part, it's the hardest part. But for us, this means looking at all the things we have to do, picking the ones that are really urgent. Some things can be put off until later. Maybe someone else can help with them. This helps us not feel so overwhelmed. And it's also about setting limits on what we agree to do, which is really hard, especially for me. Sometimes we might need to say no to extra tasks or change how we do things to make them easier. It's like the captain is choosing the best way to sail the ship safely. We need to choose the best way to do our task so we don't get too stressed and get into a current that we never wanted to be in. But dealing with burnout, it's about getting the right help and then being smart with our task. I'm going to say that again. Dealing with burnout is about getting the right help and then being smart with our task. It's like working together and making good choices to fix the ship and keep it sailing smoothly. This way, we can handle burnout better and we can get our ship, our life, back onto a calm and happy ocean, right? So let me ask, think about how you can lighten your load. What are some things you're doing that you can ask someone else to help with, or maybe even put off for a little bit? Is this important right now? Ask for help and then ask yourself, is this important? Or can I delay this just a little bit and come back to it, right? So make a list of all the things that you need to do, all of them, everything. But then pick a few that you can ask someone else to help with, or decide which ones can wait until later. Because I have an idea, I'm speaking from experience, there's quite a few things that, you know what, they can wait. They can wait. This will help you start to take some of the pressure off, just like getting rid of the extra water in our ship. Which then brings to number 4, repairing the ship, right? Building strength to handle stress. I want you to think of this step like fixing and strengthening our ship so it can handle rough seas better, because the ocean is not always smooth, right? But this is really important for dealing with burnout and staying strong. So the first thing first, boundaries. We have to set boundaries. This is like making the sides of our ship stronger. In real life, this means saying no. Yeah, it means saying no to extra stuff that can make us too busy, that can make us too stressed. It's about knowing how much we can handle and not taking on more than that. Setting boundaries helps us keep our energy for the things that are really important. So it's okay to say no and set a boundary. And then self-care. Self-care is another big part of fixing our ship. And this is like patching up any weak spots to keep the ship tough. Self-care can be different for everyone. It might be doing meditation to relax, or enjoying a hobby, maybe throwing darts, or just something that makes us happy, or spending time with family and friends. These things help us recharge and give us the strength to face the challenges. these little moments, these activities that we enjoy doing, it's almost like an immune booster for burnout, right? But learning to say no is so important, though. Go back to the ship, right? A ship can only carry so much weight. We have our limits too. So saying no to things that aren't really important or that add more stress helps us not overload. This keeps our life balanced and our ship in good shape. So repairing our ship means doing things that makes ourselves stronger and better at handling stress. It's about setting limits. It's about taking care of ourselves and not taking on too much. This way, we fix any problems caused by burnout and we get ready to handle whatever comes next in life. So with that being said, let me ask, think about what you need to fix in your life to feel better. What can you do regularly to help you stay strong when things get tough? Now, I know a lot of you are like, I have a really difficult time in setting boundaries. We all do, because we don't want to come off as unintentionally hurting anyone. That's not what boundaries are, though. So to set proper boundaries, you have to start by identifying one area in your life where you feel overwhelmed or overcommitted. It could be work, it could be social obligations, it could be just various responsibilities. But then decide on a specific boundary that you can set in this area. For example, if work is the issue, you might decide not to answer emails after a certain time in the evening. Communicate this boundary clearly to those it affects and stick to it. My team knows that I probably won't respond until after 1 p.m. because the mornings is my creative time. That's where I get all of my creative work done. And unless it's really, really, really urgent, they know I'm not going to reply until after 1 o'clock. But creating this boundary, it's like reinforcing a very specific part of your ship to ensure it can withstand the waves without taking on water. This is going to help you repair the ship and then build strength to make sure it stays afloat. And then finally, navigating to calmer waters, long-term solutions. First, we need to think about our goals, right? Like a captain looking at maps and deciding where to go. I mean, are there things you're aiming for right now? Are they good for you? Or are they just simply making life more difficult? Sometimes what we wanted before, it doesn't fit what we need now. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes what we wanted before doesn't really fit what we need now. And it's okay to change. It's okay to change the direction. It's okay to change our goals to make sure that they really are helping us, really are leading into happiness, into where we want to be in life. And within that realm of goals comes the idea of balance, which is obviously so important. It's like keeping the ship going at the right speed in the right direction, right? We need to make sure that we're not focusing too much on just one part of our life, like work or like fun. There is the balance. We do need both. But we should spread our time and our energy across a number of things, like work, like family, like fun, such as hobbies and rest and eating well, so our life feels more balanced and less stressful. But finding this balance and understanding our limits and how much a ship can carry, these limits are so important because it makes sure that we're not pushing ourselves too hard in one direction that really becomes, burnout, right? And if we see that we're unbalanced, if we see that we're going too fast in one direction that isn't where we want to go, it's okay to change our path. And sometimes that's the most important part, right? Sometimes the best thing a captain can do is change direction to avoid bad weather. The captain sees a storm coming up, right? And in life, this means being open to making big changes if they're needed for happiness, or for health, or for whatever it may be. But this could be changing jobs or changing what we're aiming for in life. But being open to the idea that change is sometimes the key, right? Moving to calming waters means thinking about our goals and finding balance and knowing our limits and being ready to change direction if we need to. And this helps us make sure that our life, our ship, is heading towards a future that's not just successful, but also peaceful. That's also intentional, which is also happiness, right? So let's ask ourselves, what does this calmer water look like for you? That's a serious question. I hope you don't miss that. What does calmer water look like for you? And then how can you adjust your course to get there? So this week, set aside some quiet time to reflect on your current life path. Write down your main goals and then ask yourself, do they still make you excited? Is this something that really just excites you? Or is this something that frustrates you? And then look at how you spend your time each day. Are you balancing work, rest, and fun? Are you balancing all of these activities? And then finally, think about any changes that you might need to make to be happier or to be less stressed, to carry less weight that isn't intended to be carried. As we bring this ship back to safety, I want to think about what we've learned today. We've been through a lot, just like a ship traveling across the ocean. We've learned to spot the early warning signs of burnout, which is like noticing water starting to get into our ship, right? A little bit begins to become a lot. We've seen how this burnout can make everything feel harder, just like a ship that's heavy with water. We've also talked about ways to deal with burnout, like getting rid of water from our ship. This meant realizing it's okay to ask for help, right? And then figuring out what's most important to do, and then sharing the load with others. We've also learned that fixing this ship sometimes means setting limits and then taking care of ourselves and saying no to too much stress. And then we looked at how to move towards a happier and more balanced life. This is like checking our map, making sure we are going in the right direction, but also making sure that our goals are still good for us and that we're finding balance between work and rest and then fun. And now we're going to end with the idea that life, like the sea, it's always going to have its calm times and it's always going to have its storms. But the important thing is not to avoid either one of these, but to be ready for them. You can be ready for the storms just as much as you can be ready for the calm. But it's about knowing how. It's about knowing how to ask, when to make changes, and then understanding that sometimes we need to go a different direction to stay safe, to stay healthy. So as we are coming back to this shore, I want you to remember that, yes, life can be tough. We're strong enough to sail the seas of it. With the right care, the right choices, we can get through any tough times, right? So I want you to think about this. I want you to think, what lessons have you learned about handling life's challenges in this very short time together? And then how can you apply these lessons to create a more balanced and fulfilling path for yourself? So take a few moments to write down one key thing that you've learned from this today about handling stress or getting rid of burnout. And then think of one small change you can make in your daily routine to apply this lesson. It could be something like setting aside time to just relax, read one page of a book, or maybe saying no to an extra task, or starting a small self-care habit. Maybe you take a bath once a week, a long, hot bubble bath. But this step is like making a small adjustment to your ship's course, which is going to put you in smoother sails. So as you go about this week, think about your ship. Are you taking on water? What steps can you take to start bailing it out? And then, most importantly, how can you repair and strengthen your ship so you are ready for whatever the ocean of life throws your way? Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for living. And remember, no matter how rough the seas, you have the strength and the resilience to navigate through them. Keep calm, sail on, and as always, be kind to your mind. And I hope you join me next time as we calm it down. To find more episodes of Calm It Down, see where I may be appearing in your area, or just simply want to know where to send me some chocolate chip cookies, visit calmitdownpodcast.com. This podcast was written and produced by yours truly, Chad Lawson, composer, pianist, and nationally recognized sweet tooth. The views, expressions, and techniques in this episode are of my personal opinion and not intended, nor should they, serve as a substitute for medical advice or diagnosis rendered to you by your individual doctor or other healthcare provider. Only a licensed physician should evaluate your situation, provide a diagnosis, or render other medical advice to you. And you should only act upon the advice of this physician. Now, I'm an extreme empath by nature, but my profession is that of a composer and pianist, not a licensed therapist or physician. I hear from thousands of listeners how my music has helped them through various stages of emotional needs, and I simply want to offer this in future podcast episodes to aid those needs. So to find a list of licensed professionals in your area, please visit calmitdownpodcast.com. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review, or better yet, share it with a friend. While it takes less than 60 seconds to do, its impact will last for years to come, as every little bit helps in growing the awareness and the importance of mental and emotional health. Thank you for listening. Thank you for living. And until next time, be kind to your mind and join me again as we calm it down.